Hello guys, here and welcome back to this Pygame series. In our last class, we were able to animate our player, and then in this series, I would want to animate the goblin, and as well, I want to have more than one goblin on the screen. Let's say one or two, three on the screen, so that once we jump, we can still jump again and then jump again. It will keep it more engaging for the player. So it is a kind of boring to wait for one goblin to disappear, then wait for another goblin to appear. So we are going to fix that problem here. So let's get back to our code and see what we can do. I'm going to set a timer so that once that time reach, it will spawn a new goblin. So I'm going to this place and I'm going to set a timer for a new event which I'm going to create. It's not going to be a Python event. I think I should go here timer, and then I'm going to create the event. So I'm going to call it my enemy event. I'm going to generalize the term because I may not have one enemy. So I'm going to say enemy event, and then this event is going to be equal to pygame dot user event. We're using user event in capital letter because this is not really a Python event, but we are adding this our event to Python, and we need to add this +1. So without this +1, our event will not be added to the list of the Python Pygame events that Pygame has. So we have to add that +1, and then we have to set the timer for the user event. So I'm going to say pygame dot time dot set timer, and then I'm going to get the event where I want to set the timer, which is our enemy event, and then the time I want it to be like 1 second every milliseconds or a second. Then we are going to add this event to our event. So if event dot type is equal to our enemy event, then to check if the event is working proper, I'm going to print hi. I should remove this, and let me just print hi. So if the event is working, definitely we are going to see ourselves. So just like the way the hi is coming now, we want a new goblin to be coming out at the same time. So we don't really need the hi. The hi is just a test. So I want to add it here. But before I do that, I have to create a list of those goblins that I want to be added. I'm going to say enemy list correct is going to be equal to an empty list. So this empty list here is what we are going to use here and not the print. So enemy list rect list is going to be dot append. So we are going to append every of our enemy to this enemy list, and I think to do that we have to get the rectangle, and we have only one enemy as of now. We have only the goblin as the enemy. So I'm going to get the goblin rectangle and add it there so we can append the rectangle to the list each time the code runs, or each time the timer reach. So I have to comment this out. And then I have to put this here. And there are so many things that I will not be needing anymore, like, but I think I should just wait when everything is ready before I comment. But let me just comment them out so that I may not forget. I'm going to set a new motion for this, so I think I have to comment them out. I will not be needing them. I will not be needing this too. Where is my draw? I will not be needing these two because I'm going to draw them in a different environment, so it could look a little bit cleaner. So after I append this to my enemy list rect, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a function that is going to regulate it for me, how the enemy should be added and when it should be added. I'm going to go to the top of my code, and then, but one more thing, the positioning is not going to be the same. I think I have to change that. The position, I want the position to be in a range, let's say from 780 to like or 1000. So that's what I want to use. And to use range in Python, we have to import our random. I'm going to say import random, or from random import rand int. So this will help me change the positions of my rectangle each time I want a new goblin. So rand int. So the position will not just be one position. Assuming we are expecting only one goblin, we can use one position for the width. But since we want more than one goblin, that's why I have to make it interval, so that it will be randomly generating different positions for it, especially the width. We're not going to do that for the height, because we want the height to be in that same position that it is. And then after we have done this, I think we should go and create the function. So I'm going to call it enemy spawn. So let's just comment it out. Enemy spawn. I'm going to say def enemy spawn. I'm going to have one parameter, which is enemy list, and then I'm going to say if enemy list, that is, if enemy list exists, then what I'm going to put in between is going to be true, the pass. But if it did not, if the enemy list exists, then the code that is going to be below it is going to work. And if it does not exist, I want to return an empty list. I just return an empty list. So here now, I'll come and say if for enemy rect in enemy list, then we want to move the rectangle. So enemy rect dot x, which is the width, we want to move it to the left side with 5 points, and then we want to draw a new goblin that will appear. So I'm going to say screen. That was why I had to comment the other one out, because we're going to use this screen.bleed. Then I'm going to specify the particular enemy, which is goblin surface, and then the position, which is enemy rect, and I'm going to return this. I'm going to return the new enemy list. And I think that is why I think I have to make this code a bit shorter. So this can also be here. So I have to go and call this code. So I'm going to go down to call the code now. So I think under my play animation, I'll just call enemy spawn. And if you can remember, our enemy spawn had a parameter, therefore it's going to expect an argument, and that argument I'm going to set it to our enemy list rect, or our enemy rect list. So this is the list of all the rectangles that is going to be coming out. I'm going to set the argument to this, and then I'm going to set the entire function to the enemy list, the empty list that we had before. So enemy list rect is going to be equal to this. I think I made a mistake. It's supposed to be enemy rect list, not enemy list rect. So you can correct it each place you see the enemy list rect. You can change it to rect list, but I think I have to just continue with it like this. I know what I'm trying to say. So we are going to set this, the empty list we had here before, which is enemy list rect, is empty. So now we are going to set it, we have set it to our function, which is above. I'm going to run our code to see if it's going to work now. see if what we did is right. So I'm going to save it first. Now let me clear the screen. And then I think everything is working, but the interval is a kind of, the function is calling very fast, so I have to fix it. I'm going to go back to where my timer is, and then I'm going to set it to like 130, so it won't be calling that fast. I think it's better now. Everything is fixed now. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to animate our goblin, and we have to be fast because the time is kind of, and it's not going to be different from what we did for the player. So I'm going to use most of the code we use for our players. So I'm going to copy and paste, and I will advise you, if you want to copy and paste, I'm going to copy and paste to save time, but sometimes it can be a kind of confusing to copy and paste, so you have to be careful. But I believe you can also repeat the same step we did for the player animation, for the goblin animation. So you can pause this video and try it yourself. I'm going to like copy some of those code in order to be faster. I'm going to look for where my variable is, my player variable. So I'm going to copy everything here, copy, and then I don't know, it's a kind of funny copying all these things like this and trying to like re-edit everything, but I had to. At some point you have to do it. Not it's going to take a lot of time. So I'm going to change the image here. I'm going to change it to left of our goblin enemy. So it should be enemy. And then I'm going to change this to left L and our enemy. And then I'm going to change the player to enemy. And then should I change it? I think I should just leave it. This is not general enemy, this is just for the goblin. So I'm going to change it to goblin. And then I'm going to change this player to goblin. And I'm going to change, I don't need this player jump because our goblin is not going to jump. But I need this. So I'm going to change this to goblin. And then here too, I'm going to change it to goblin. Goblin 1. Goblin 2, and then the index 2, I'm going to change it to goblin. And I'm going to change the list 2 here to goblin, and index here to goblin as well. So we are going to go for a function just like we did the last time. We're going to get the, I think I have to name this now. Player animation. And we're going to copy everything too. So I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to change everything to goblin. I'm going to change the player as well to goblin, and here too we have the player surface. I'm going to change it to goblin. Instead of the player index, I'm going to change it as well to goblin. And then if goblin rect is less than, I think we don't have to do this because our goblin is not really going to jump, so we're going to remove this and bring this to be on the same line with our global. And I have to change this player index to goblin. It has to be on the same line. Goblin index. If goblin index is greater than or equal to the length of our goblin list, so not player list anymore. And then goblin index is set back to 0. Goblin index set back to 0. And then our goblin surface is going to be equal to goblin list, and then player index here we are going to change it to goblin list. So I believe you already know what this function does and what the code inside is used for. So if you don't really know what it's used for, you can watch my previous video to see how we did that for the player, and then it will help you to like familiarize yourself with what I just did. So I'm going to see if our code is working fine now. Because after copying all this, I think everything is working very fine now, but our goblin is not really animated because we have not called the code, we have not called the function. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down, 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 down. And then after my player animation on this list, I think I have to call my goblin here. I'm going to say goblin, goblin animation. And then I'm going to save it this time now, clear the screen. Let's see what will happen this time. And you can see our goblin is animated, where we can jump, and our goblin is as if it's walking towards us. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to work on the collision. That's what we are going to do in our next tutorial. So you can also try it yourself, but I'm going to really explain it in our next tutorial. So I believe you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this, thank you for joining me.